going to the land of milk and honey, where you don't need no money. Talking about the journey deep inside, with infinite spirit as a guide, where your imagination can run free, you can realize all your dreams. We're talking about the journey deep inside, with infinite spirit as a guide. Everything you want is already there. Whatever you desire, it will appear. Oh yeah, yeah. We'll be living in heaven here on earth, experience life for all it's worth. We're talking about the journey deep inside, with infinite spirit as a guide. For what you believe you can achieve, let your wild horses run free. We're talking about the journey deep inside, with infinite spirit as a guide. Everything you want is already there. Whatever you desire, it will appear. Oh yeah, we're going to the land of you don't need no money. Infinite spirit, your imagination can run free, and you can realize all your dreams. Talk about the journey, let the spirit be your guide, let the spirit be your guide, let the spirit be your guide. Let the spirit be your guide, let the spirit be your guide, let the spirit be your guide. I'm talking about the inward journey. 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 We're living in heaven here on earth. They're talking about the journey. They're talking about the journey. And what you believe you can achieve. Talking about the journey deep inside. Talking about the journey. Talking about the journey. Yeah. You don't need no money. Talking about the land of milk and honey. Everything you want is already there. We've been living in heaven here on earth. Yes, we will.
Celebration Center for Spiritual Living, and welcome to another fabulous Sunday morning. Meowie, wait, hold on, I'm going to move over here. Meowie Catmas. It's the one time a year that I get to wear this sweater, and I love it. If you don't know who I am, my name is Reverend Chris Alexander. I'm the senior minister here at Celebration Center for Spiritual Living. There are just things happening this morning. Oh my goodness, it's going to be one of those mornings, and that is lovely. We have a big group here in person. We have a big group online. There's just a lot going on. The spirit and the atmosphere is festive, and we love it. So if you are joining us online, we don't know you're here unless you tell us. So I invite you to just go into the chat wherever you're at and say good morning. Let us know. What's your favorite holiday tradition? Tell us in the chat. And if you are joining us for the very first time, an extra special welcome to you. We invite you to fill out a guest card. If you're here in the room and this is your first time here, we have guest cards right over there on the table. Or if you are online, you can scan this code that's going up in just a moment, or go to the link that will be right here in also just a moment. There we go. Scan this code or go to this link, and that will lead you to a guest card that you can fill out. It's just going to give us some information about you and tell us how we can support you as this beloved community that we continue to create and grow. This morning, we have All Angles performing, so I'm super excited about that. And so we have Lynn Hollyfield, our music director, as well as Jen Fay, Chet Hall, and Nancy Newman. So let's give them another round of applause. And then we have Irina Kurashevitz as our practitioner on platform. Yay, Irina! And finally, I am super excited because Reverend Faith Woods, my glorious predecessor, is here to speak with us today on her recent trip to Egypt and everything that she learned. I'm sure she came back totally enlightened, and we just can't wait to hear all about it and see some pictures. So stay tuned. It's going to be an awesome service this morning. If you would like us to pray with you, we do offer a ministry of prayer on Monday afternoons with our practitioners and ministers. And so you can put in a prayer request in a couple of different ways. You can scan the code, or you can go to celebrationcenter.org and click on Request Affirmative Prayer. That will lead you to a form you can fill out where you can request prayer, and our ministers and practitioners will pray with you throughout the week as well as at our ministry of prayer. We are still doing the Lutheran Social Services coat drive and winter accessory drive. We just had a big old garbage bag of coats brought in, which is so awesome. They are doing really amazing work. Stay tuned because we're going to have representatives from Lutheran Social Services out in January to tell us all of the exciting stuff that they have going on. And in the meantime, talk to your neighbors, talk to your friends, get everybody's gently used coats, gloves, scarves, hats, mittens, or new socks, and bring them up to support refugees and people who need them in this freezing cold time of year. On January 1st, yes, January 1st, 2 weeks from today, we are going to be back here in person and online doing a white stone ceremony at our hybrid community connection time. This is open to anyone and everyone. You do not need to RSVP. You do not need to tell us you're coming. You can just show up to this awesome event. If you would like for us to mail you a white stone because you are too far away to come pick one up, Then you can fill out the form at celebrationcenter.org. Scroll down to upcoming events and Whitestone ceremony. There's a form on there. You can fill that out, and we will mail you a white stone so that you can participate with the stone. However, you can still show up and participate even if you don't have the white stone. So please come to that. Next week, Christmas morning, we will not be doing an in-person service. Our service is online only. So this is especially important for the people who are sitting in the room. Do not come to the service in person next week. Next week is online only. And so we invite you to join us at 11 from your home in your Christmas pajamas with your cocoa and your eggnog and all of your new presents, your new slippers, all of that. Watch online. We're going to have a special service with a message, a meditation, and some music. We have this thing called You starting on the 2nd of January. It's going to be Monday evenings from 6:30 to 8:30. This class is awesome. If you've never read this thing called You by Ernest Holmes, it's one of my favorite books that he read. It might be my favorite book that I've read that he's written, not that he read, that he wrote. My goodness. And Reverend Ryan Alexander is going to be teaching this class. This class is great for anybody who's been in the teaching for a long time and just wants a little bit of a re-up. It also satisfies one of the basic foundational classes that you need if you're interested in being a practitioner. So go ahead and go to our website, sign up for that. We do have scholarships available. If you need one, just contact me, Reverend Chris at celebrationcenter.org, and we will set you up with a scholarship so that you can take that class. And this Wednesday at 4 p.m., we are doing an online only. Once again, do not come to Hite Hall. Stay home in your pajamas. Well, 4 p.m. Stay home in your yoga pants and watch our winter solstice ceremony that we are going to be offering. This ceremony is going to be absolutely beautiful. Lynn will be there providing beautiful music. There's going to be readings by our practitioners, Judy Blaze and Jen Fay. I'm going to be doing a ceremony of some sort. We're still hashing it all out, but it's going to be beautiful. And what I'm really excited about is that we will be together for the solstice itself, which happens at 4:47 p.m. So join us at 4 o'clock on live stream. If you can't watch at 4, that's okay. It'll be recorded and you can watch anytime. And then finally, if y'all remember, if you've been here for a while, we have had several practitioners from Ukraine come and be our practitioner on platform. And as y'all know, Irina Kurashevitz, who is our practitioner on platform today, has been working with them. She I can't even go into all of the things that she's doing to support our Ukrainian practitioners. Even long before the war started, she supported them in becoming practitioners and translating the materials and the courses and the tests and the panels and everything. And now every day she meets with them and is working with everybody across the globe to do a peace meditation. And we have fallen in love with these practitioners from the Ukraine. They are absolutely incredible. And we want to support them in having the best holiday that they can possibly have right now with everything going on. And so we are raising funds for our Ukrainian practitioners. You can go to celebrationcenter.org and go to the give area and just scroll down in the funds. There is a fund for Ukrainian support. And if you can't find all that, that's okay. You can also scan this code and that will take you directly to a form you can fill out, or just give into your regular tithes and offerings and put in the memo how much you would like to donate towards the Ukrainian practitioners. This money is going to go directly to them via Western Union, where they'll separate it out. It's going to go to feed their families, to buy treats and gifts for their children, and to just support them in having the best holiday season possible. So if you would like to donate to that, we invite you to do that. And I continue to be so grateful that in 2022, with all of this technology that we have available, that the world has become so small that we know are Ukrainian practitioners and we get to be a part of their lives in this intimate way. And with all of that, I invite you I invite all Ingalls up for an opening song.
Good morning. I hope you'll sing along with us. We're going to do this beautiful song by Carrie Newcomer, Room at the Table. Let our hearts not be hardened to those living on the margins. There is room at the table for everyone. This is where it all begins. This is how we gather in. There is room at the table for everyone. Too long we have wandered, burdened and undone. There is room at the table for everyone. Let us sing the new world in. This is how it all begins. There is room at the table for everyone. There is room for us all, and no gift is too small. There is room at the table for everyone. There's enough if we share. Come on, pull up a chair. There is room at the table for everyone. No matter who you are, no matter where you're from, there is room at the table for everyone. Here and now we all can be the beloved community. There is room at the table for everyone. There is room for us all, and no gift is too small. There is room at the table for everyone. There's enough if we share. Come on, pull up a chair. There is room at the table for everyone. There is room at the table for everyone.
Thank you, Reverend Chris, for such kind words about me and Ukrainian practitioners. But yeah, I fell in love with them. They're wonderful, wonderful women, and their children are amazing. And they also help orphans, so that, giving to them is giving to a really, really good purpose. So my name is Irina Kurashevich, and I'm platform practitioner here. And as Reverend Chris said, we are praying. We're ready to pray with community. We're happy to pray with community. I don't know if there will be QR code or not, but but please give us this wonderful opportunity to pray with you. And right now I invite you to enter the sacred time in our service. And let's breathe together. Let's do a couple of circles of 3-part breath. As we breathe together, we are remembering our oneness, synchronizing together as the beloved community that spans across the globe, and recognizing the unique gifts we each bring. So, if you're comfortable, close your eyes or just soften your gaze and feel that you are supported by your chair and the ground beneath your feet, and deepen your breath and just bring your awareness to the present moment. Allow everything else that worries you, concerns, to-do list, the busyness of the holiday season, just fall away and simply relax in a row. Breathe in. Hold. Breathe out. Breathe in. Hold. Breathe out. Breathe in. Hold. And breathe out. And from this sacred space of one breath, let's say our vision together. We are celebrating spirit within and knowing the oneness of humanity. Today's reading I borrowed from Reverend Ryan. Reverend Ryan are doing a wonderful light season, 30 days, 31 days of light. And I was happy to participate in that. And the reading that was suggested to me was wonderful, and I decided to repeat it and bring it to our Sunday gathering. So this reading is by Richard Attenborough, and he says, "There is a light in the world, a healing spirit more powerful than any darkness one may encounter. We sometimes lose sight of this force when there is suffering and too much pain. Then suddenly, the Spirit will emerge through the lives of ordinary people who hear a call and answer in extraordinary ways." And I know that God is. And I know that Spirit is. And no matter how we call it, Spirit, God, universe, Allah, Bog, I know that this wonderful creative power exists right here, right now. And it is light. It is life itself. It is the essence of everything that exists. And it exists everywhere equally. And it flows through everything absolutely effortlessly. As God, the Spirit, is all there is. And knowing that, I know that I am the light in the world. I am an ordinary person who can do extraordinary things through God and with God and as God. And as I recognize my oneness, I know the oneness of the universe with each and every one who is sitting here in front of me, or who is watching me right now, or will watch me later. I know this oneness with God for everyone who I've never met and will never meet. I just know that there is nothing else but oneness within the power of the Spirit. And this creative power flows easily and effortlessly through everyone. And everyone is a co-creator of their lives. With every breath, with every desire, with every thought, with every word, with every action, everyone changes the world, little by little, the world around them, for them, and as them. And I know for this community and for every person, perfect and radiant health, wholeness, joy, peace, light, abundance, wonderful relationship within Spirit, laughter, presence, gifts of Spirit, given and received. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to know the power of this prayer, the power of co-creation, the power of oneness, the power of peace, and the power of light and life. I'm grateful to know that life prevails, that peace prevails, that love prevails. And from this deep, deep gratitude, I simply release my words into the law, knowing that they are fulfilled in the perfect mind of God. And mine is just to surrender and let it be. With open heart and joy, I say, and so it is.
go. Dona nobis pacem pacem. Dona nobis pacem. Dona nobis pacem pacem. Dona nobis 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 pacem pacem. Dona nobis pacem. So may our nobis pacem. Dona nobis pacem. Dona nobis pacem. Dona nobis pacem. Dona nobis pacem pacem. Dona nobis pacem. Dona nobis pacem. Dona nobis pacem. These are my 108 slides. I don't know about you guys. For anyone who doesn't know me, I'm Reverend Faith Woods, and it's so nice to be here and to hear this beautiful music from Lynn and the group. It made me realize that we have such beautiful music here that sometimes the big choirs can't really compare to them, just because we're so up close and personal. So I am very, very grateful for you, each and every one. So I'm just going to arrange this so it's a little more comfortable before I begin. I think that's a little better. So as a kid, when I heard that we had a missionary from China that was going to tell us all about their travels, it meant there was slides, and they talked about slides and stuff. And I was very bored. So I was determined I was not going to show you all of my photos. But if you're ever wanting more information from stuff that I tell you, you can certainly ask me. So my experiences in marketplaces and such, there is an Ankh sign. The Ankh sign is about life. It's a very beautiful sign. It used to remind me of the Christian cross, so I didn't care for it. But as I learned more about it and what it meant to the Egyptians, and you will see this Ankh in the drawings of the gods and goddesses, they carry it with them for protection because it means good life. This was from a rug factory where they made handmade rugs, so I saw that in Egypt. And I want to tell you about the marketplaces. The marketplaces have everything you want, and when you walk down one, you are immediately you're immediately encircled by 5 or 6 people whose markets are right there saying, oh, touch this. And as soon as you touch it, it's over your, yes. Irina knows. As soon as you touch it, as soon as you show a sign, it's in your hands, and they won't take it back. I mean, they will eventually, but at one point, I literally had to set a statue down and walk away because I could not get it back, and I was not going to buy that one. So, to begin with, when I was preparing for my trip, I just want you to, I don't know if you can see that out there or not. We'll just leave that there. So I was talking the other day, and Irina asked a question, and I gave her some answers, and she said, yeah, I heard you went for the experience. Because I didn't just travel. I didn't go on a trip. I went to Egypt for the experience of Egypt, because it was something that was so passionate for me since I was about 12 years old, and I figured I drew the best picture of the Egyptian hieroglyphics, you know, the people walking sideways, walk like this. And I couldn't draw really, but my picture looked like theirs. And I was like, oh, this is kind of magical. This is where I want to go. Reverend Kathy Ann Lewis out in Seattle was the trip that I went on with some other ministers. And she's been to Egypt so many times that she knows it kind of backwards and forwards. And she set the stage for transformation, because she talks about her own changes. As she goes to Egypt, she talks about, this is how I changed. So as I am getting ready for this, I sign up and I plop my money down and I tell Sandy, I'm going to Egypt. I just signed up. I had invited him and he didn't want to go. And then all of a sudden I heard this litany of who would want to go to Egypt? Why would anyone want to go to Egypt? Blah, blah, blah. All of the statistics, all of the facts, all of the reasons why no one wants to go to Egypt. And this was like 7 months out, right? So as I tell my friends, as I said to Jen, hey, Jen, I'm going to Egypt. And Sandy would immediately start this, I don't understand why anyone would want to go to Egypt. So knowing I had to nip this in the bud or be resentful, I have determined when I am really clear with my husband and with friends what I want, then they get it. If I'm not clear, we go through the same things, the same arguments, the same discussions, but if I'm really, really clear, things can change and shift. So I said to him one day, you know, if you had a dream, if I knew that you had a dream from your childhood that was going to be fulfilled, I would want to support you in that. So I want you to support me. And it was like a switch went off. He never once said anything else about Egypt not being where anyone would want to go. He immediately, I don't know if it was my birthday or what, he gave me money. It was half of the plane fare. He said, I want to bring you home. And then through other times and events and anniversaries and such, he ended up really paying for my ticket. So he really did support me fully in this. And he took me to the airport and he picked me up at the airport. I don't know if he'll ever do that again, but he was able to do that. And so I'm so grateful to him, and I'm so grateful for the knowing that I have. But it takes a moment to get really clear on what you can say that really has people understand what it is you want. So I want to give you a quote. It was from last week. If you heard this last week, I hope that you still enjoy it, because I want to interweave a little bit of spiritual living topics into this. So, and who we are, it goes like this: who we are, who we acknowledge. about being part of our community, because this month is about community, is a vital part of creating community. When we see people in the community as outside or not belonging, or we don't see them at all, we limit the possibility of our greater whole. Whatever the perceived difference, there is value in making genuine connection with all people. So on this trip, I found this wisdom to be so valuable because I was with ministers, yet I only had a cursory knowledge of these individuals from the listserv, from what they wrote and stuff. So I recognized their names, but here's our little secret. Our little secret is that sometimes I had a judgment on them. And I knew that we were going to be a tribe based on what Reverend Kathy Ann was saying about how we were going to take this trip. And so without ever saying a word to them, without ever being able to look at them, I had some judgments. And I decided that I would connect with everyone on that trip individually, because I believe when you look someone in the eye and you talk with them and you make any kind of a connection, whether it's I like chocolate, oh yeah, so do I. Whatever the connection, it is important. And it begins creating a union. And through that, we start including people and we have community. So I had an opportunity to connect to everyone verbally and begin to create community. I also kept the affirmation from last week's in my mind because it's an affirmation I really like and use. I see spirit in everyone I meet. I see spirit in everyone I meet. I've had those experiences before on a bigger level, but each time I talked to someone, I remembered they are part of me. They're not separate from me. They're a part of me. And I could find a commonality with each and every person on that trip. Even if it was simply, oh, I have those shoes in my closet. I mean, any little thing makes a difference in my mind. And it creates a way to remember and an avenue to go deeper. So I give Reverend Kathy Ann credit for creating this intention of our group coming together so that the group as a whole would support everyone's individual intention as well. So the group had an intention and I had an intention. And mine was very simple. It was to absorb and to be there and to experience as much as I could. I am not a person who likes to be in close places. And I was in several really close places. I am not a person who likes to be in a room where I can't see a way to the exit. And I was in those rooms. I am not a person who likes heights, but I went up pretty darn high. And it was interesting to me because each time I was in a situation like that, where fear could arise, I just simply relaxed and said, I want this experience more than I want that fear. I want this more than that fear. So I'm going to have to, someone needs to tell me when I need to stop. So I'm going to put that on Ivor or someone. So the fact that Reverend Kathy Ann marketed this trip as transformational was one thing I really wanted. And I know that the time was just right. Even though I wanted it since I was 12 years old, I know that this trip was the one that I needed. And they're discovering more and more things in Egypt. I mean, they're discovering that where they excavated this pyramid and all the junk is over there, they're removing all that junk now and finding another burial site or some kind of a treasure. So they're still excavating over there, and we were able to see excavation grounds. Now, the other thing I appreciated were ground rules. We had strict ground rules. And I hope Reverend Kathy Ann's not listening to this, but I mean, she was. You will be this way. And we were. And it was good. One, no complaining. No complaining, because it muddies the consciousness of the whole. We were to take care of our needs and ask for help if we needed it, but not complain. Being on time means being early. I almost didn't get that one today, did I? Being on time means being early. In other words, if the bus is leaving at 4, you're not showing up at 4, you're on the bus. So we soon got it in our heads to plan the time from we walked out of our door, how long it was going to take us to get to the bus. Experience first and pictures later. This was interesting because we could relax. She said, I will always give you time for pictures, but go for the experience first. Take your pictures later. And be mindful of others around you, because we all process things differently. So someone may need to be alone or someone may need help, but be aware of those around you. So we visited every site with intention. We had photo ops. We learned to bargain in the marketplace, which I'll tell you a little bit later. We felt safe with our guides, and we learned a bit about the current Egyptian culture also. Our Egyptologist was named Farag, and Farag was passionate about his religion. And I've always, and Muslim is the religion there. You hear every so often their calls to prayer. They are sent out all over the land. So it's not just the predominant religion. You are immersed in their culture with that. Farag was passionate about Islam, and he made arrangements to take us to a mosque when we asked. This mosque, I should have brought that picture. This mosque was under a house. When he said we're going to a mosque, I saw all of these beautiful mosques, all the turrets, all the spires, and the big domes. And we went to a very small mosque that was underneath a home. And that's where most people, or many of the people, go to worship, a smaller place. It was a little bit bigger than this room, but not a whole lot. Maybe twice when I think about it. And their rugs are prayer rugs where everyone has a, quote, seat, but they're really on the floor. And they kneel down. And one thing about Farag was he really tried to make us aware that the Egyptian women have rights and have, in the laws and stuff, they have rights. And so he said, you may wonder why we always put the women in the back, because to you it may sound wrong, like we're putting them last. That's not really true. But if you think about how we do prayer, and we bend down and touch our foreheads to the floor, the women are safer in the back. So what woman would want a man, behind her in that position was his idea. And I thought, well, that makes sense. I don't know if it makes all the sense that I need, but that really made sense. As passionate as he was about Islam and his God, he was also open to our experiences and happy to be with us in the places that he went with us. So he was happy to sit with us and hear our prayers and our stuff too. The Egyptian marketplaces, oh my goodness. So I showed you some. Little children, when we would get off the boat that we were on, would be there, bookmarks, little pamphlets, and they would crowd around you. And as soon as someone, I don't know if it's a looking in the eye part or what it is, but as soon as they caught you, they didn't leave you. They stayed with you as long as they could, because they wanted to sell their bookmarks, to do these things. And I did end up, close to the end of the time, buying some bookmarks just because I wanted to support a child, knowing that it was just an interesting experience. So, like we said, when you go, you're surrounded immediately by 4 people, at least. And if you buy something from the person you think you're buying it from, they say, come to my shop. It's over here. I said, I just bought something from you. No, that was for him. You need to come here. So there was that constant happening going on in these marketplaces. We did go to a Nubian marketplace where the people of Egypt shop, and it was vastly different. It was more like going to an outside mall, and you could kind of trust what they were giving you, and you still bargained some. But if you didn't bargain, you were doing it wrong. So for some people, that was really, really tough. So one of the last days we were on the, I think we were still on the boat. Yes, we were on the boat. My thought process in going was, I don't need anything. I'm not going to buy anything. I'm going for the experience. I want to carry everything on. I'm going to take one suitcase, one carry-on suitcase, small, and one big personal item, heavy, and that's going to do it. And about a week before, I thought, maybe you're being a little too strict. It's 2 weeks, and what if you do buy something? So I did put one carry-on. It was a small, it could have been a carry-on bag, but I checked one, and I carried one on, and I had my large tote. And everything went fine. My luggage got there, no problem. I felt comfortable buying a blouse. I felt comfortable buying some spices. I felt comfortable buying some different things. And I decided I really had everything I needed. And I'm walking through you had to walk through the marketplace to get back to the bus. There was no way out except through the marketplace. So there you are. You're walking. And like I said, as soon as someone found you, usually they didn't go too far away from their own little booth. But I'm walking, and this man comes up beside me and pulls this fate. You can show the lady. You can show the lady. This man comes and walks beside me, has a bag, and in it he has a lady that's wrapped up in just a piece of paper. And he shows her to me, and he says, "Isn't she beautiful?" You know, and she fits like this in your hand. So he won't let her go. And I said, "Yes, she's beautiful," and "No, I'm not going to." He asked about $40 for her, I believe, and I said, "No." He said, "Well, what would you give me?" And I really wanted to let him know, send a message. I said, $1. And of course, it hurts his heart. It always hurts ours when you go low. And so this beautiful lady is there, and I'm looking at her briefly sometimes because he says, and we keep bargaining, and all of it, he walks me all the way to the end of the marketplace where I'm crossing the street to get on the bus. And finally, I had said $5, I think. And he said $6. And I said, okay. Because there was something there that said, you need to buy this. You need to buy her. So I took her back, and she was heavy. She must have weighed about 6 pounds. And I'm going, okay, now I have this statue that may or may not fit in my suitcase, and I don't know anything about her. And there was a sense of unease that I even had her. So I asked my Egyptologist at one point, so I'm going to back up and tell you a little bit more about this story. I didn't know anything about her, so I took her upstairs to talk to Farag, and he wasn't there, so I set her on a desk. Then I remembered, I forgot about her until I went back to the room, because breakfast that morning was off the boat on land. So when I remembered her in the mid-afternoon and I walked upstairs, she was gone. And I'm looking at the spot where she was, and she's gone. And our guide, one of our guides, Mohammed, was there, and he goes, Faith, what's the matter? Are you okay? And I said, well, I had this statue. He says, oh, and he picked her up immediately. He had hidden her underneath. He said, no one knew anything about her when I asked. No one knew. And we didn't know what angel had brought her to us. And I'm like, well, okay. So I took her back downstairs to my room and talked with her and asked her if she wanted to come here or stay in Egypt. And every question I asked, it was kind of my decision. It was up to me, and she was going to be okay here or there. And finally, when I had asked Farag about her, he said, well, it's an Egyptian face. And I thought that was rather curt, because usually he's more forthcoming. So I took her up again and talked with him, and he said, whoever painted her was a master painter. Whoever created this did it well. If we found this in a dig, we would be ecstatic. But it isn't old. It isn't old. So I was free then to know she hadn't been there forever. But what I decided was that Farag knew more about her than I did. And as beautiful as she was, and still I long for her sitting up on my bookcase, I have to admit. My heart is torn. But I gave her to Farag for his use and his collection, and he seemed very pleased. So that's the story of my love affair in Egypt. My love affair in Egypt. We had many, many early morning experiences. We had wake-up calls at 3, 3:30, 4, and 4:30 on an every other day basis, maybe. Some days in a row. An hour after that wake-up call, you were expected on the bus, and by 5 o'clock, we were at sites. The pyramid, or the Sphinx. So our first visit was to the Sphinx, and we were there early in the morning. This is my tribe. We were there early in the morning before the sun rose, and there may be a second picture of the Sphinx, too. We meditated between the paws of the Sphinx from 5 to 6 or 6:30. And then we had photo ops. So Reverend Kathy Ann knows where all these places are where you can look through and see things. And this to be in total darkness and to see the sunrise and know that you're at this sacred place that they call the Sphinx, it's pretty amazing. So I soon learned that getting up at 3 and 3:30, it's not my style, but it was worthwhile because we got to be places alone in the quiet with no one else around. And that helped us become more of a tribe also. That helped us because we were there. So one of my final experiences I'm going to tell you about now, my most powerful, energetic experience was in the Great Pyramid. And there's a slide that shows just a walking way. There's the Great Pyramid. And let's leave this slide up for a minute because if I can get over there a bit. Do you see where the group is? And you see the white on either side of the group? And then you see the blocks of the pyramid going up. When the pyramid was first built, it was all solid like that. It wasn't jagged stepping stone look. It was all a white limestone, and there's the top of the pyramid, one side of it that has that still available for you to see. So that has all worn away. Most of it has worn away. But as we went into the pyramid, there is, when you go inside, it's warm, actually. So we got there by the cool of the day, and we got inside, and this is a part of the way that you climb up into the pyramid. We went first to the Queen's Chamber. And on the way, you go up this ladder. On the way to the Queen's Chamber, all of a sudden you're in a tunnel. You come to a tunnel where you have to bend over halfway.
You're literally halfway, and your back is touching the top of the ceiling. There's nowhere to go, and there's someone behind me, and there's someone in front of me, and I'm breathing and saying, oh, I'm sure it's not too long, but it seemed to go on forever. And then we got to stand up and go into the Queen's Chamber, which is a room about this size, and it was totally bare. And I took 2 steps in, and tears were falling down my face. And I still do not know exactly why tears were falling down my face. I wasn't sobbing. I wasn't hysterical, but I was, and we meditated there about 10 minutes in just a dark, empty room with this energy that, however you feel it. And then we went out of the Queen's Chamber and up to the King's Chamber. And the King's Chamber was another climb, but we didn't have a tunnel. Yay. But it was, it's not for the faint of heart to climb up into these things and go down ladders and up different things. The last 2 steps into the King's Chamber were very big, and everyone had to pull themselves up and be in there. The King's Chamber was about 4 times the size of this room and had one thing, a sarcophagus at the end. And since we were by ourselves, I didn't cry going into that room. Since we were by ourselves, we could meditate there, and we could each crawl into the sarcophagus. And there I am, laying in the sarcophagus, and I will tell you that there's a lot of energy in Egypt. Their history is thousands of years, BC and AD, and we have our little span of 2 centuries plus in our country that we know about. So this energy that goes on is pretty interesting. And when I laid down in the sarcophagus, I closed my eyes, and immediately I saw this like tunnel. It reminded me of what they describe in the River of the Dead as the River of the Dead. And it was just so much energy moving. It was so much I wanted to see it, so I opened my eyes, and it was dark. I couldn't see anything. But when I closed my eyes, I could see the energy. So I learned, I had an experience where I was able to get out of anger really quickly and have energy just pass through me. It's kind of like the untethered soul. You just let it pass through you. It was easy there because I didn't have history there. When I come back here and I get angry, I have history with whoever it is, usually. So I want to hone that thing. It was just a unique experience, and I think that I am almost complete because you guys can only take so much, you know? My dad someone used to say, if you talk more than 15 minutes, it's too long. I've already gone on way too long. And you can only absorb what you can take sitting down. So there was magic and mystery in this time. And this is a time of magic and mystery too. And we think of mystery as something where there's no answer. But when we read a mystery novel, there's an answer, right? There's an answer. So the mystery that we know is spirit. The mystery we have and the magic that happens when you believe and you get in touch with that is miraculous. That's what we call miracles. And so I'd invite you this season to get in touch with your child within, probably, to take in that mystery, to take in that magic and remember it. Because I realize I've lost some of the magic of Christmas because it has changed in my life. But I want it back. I'm going to work on that, getting it back. Even though I live with a Scrooge, I'm going to get it back. So look into those mysteries because they do have answers. And so I'm just going to invite you to close your eyes with me for a moment as we go within and take this time and this energy of the unknown that is us. And sometimes aren't we a mystery to ourselves? We know that there is only one. And so sometimes we look outside of ourselves to each other to help us understand who we are. And we call that community. Sometimes we talk to people and let them help us, and we call that community. There is so much to be known in us and through us and as we come together. So I just bless this time. I am grateful for being here with each one of you. It is great to see your smiles and energy, and know that you are important in this life, in this community, in whatever relationships you are in. There is an importance for you. And so I give thanks. I know that Spirit is here on this field all the time. And I choose to recognize it more and more and more. Through me, through you. And so it is. Thank you. I have one more thing. One of the, I talked about talking to everyone, and this one gentleman that I talked to found a quote after he had talked to me, and he wrote it down. It says, "Faith is a sword forged in the fires of infinite." Isn't that nice? Yes. Back to business.
Oh, that was wonderful. I'm going to do a beautiful song I discovered this year. It's been around for a while, I think, by Peter Mayer, and it's called Winter Woods. I fly sometimes through the frozen trees in the winter wood, in their robes of white, chanting silently in the winter woods. Like a forest abbey choir, whispering hymns of snow and ice. In excelsis to the cold, and Hosanna to the sky. Hosanna. And the holy trees, they know when I'm in the winter woods, and they bid me sing, and I comply in the winter woods. But I stumble in my turn, 'cause I cannot find the words. In that church of birch and pine, only a word that comes to mind is beautiful. Like a forest abbey choir, whispering hymns of snow and ice. In excelsis to the cold, and Hosanna to the sky. Hosanna. I sing beautiful in the winter woods, and the trees agree. They all agree in the winter woods. They all agree in the winter woods.
Oh, thank y'all so much. And thank you. Let's give Reverend Faith another round of applause. I am so grateful that she was here with us today and shared all of your stories. Thank you so much, Reverend Faith. So this is the time in our service for our gifts and our offerings, and just being here is being here. Your presence is a present, is a gift to us, and so we are a tithing community. And so if you have a gift or an offering or a donation or a tithe or whatever you would like to call it, we will gratefully accept that. And I invite you to also remember the Ukrainian practitioners. You can even just put in your memo line on Breeze, you know, what you want to go where, and we will work it all out on the back end. And there are several different ways that you can donate. The first is if you are in the room, we have a basket right over on the table. We can also receive checks and money orders through the mail. Or the easiest way is to go to celebrationcenter.org and click on the Give button, or to simply scan the code that is right there next to me. All of those, or those two ways, will lead you to our Secure Breeze website, where you can give to us. And with that, I would like Irina to come up and offer a prayer and affirmation.
And I remember that we want to start from affirmation. This gift I give is God in action. I give it in joy. I give it in love. I give it in faith. I give it knowing that I am blessed, and so I gratefully give. And yes, I know that I give in faith and in God and in joy. And I know abundance and prosperity for the Celebration Center and its community, and the friends, and the whole universe. And I know that abundance exists in the law of circulation. And it all comes in so many different shapes and forms. When you give, you receive. And like Reverend Faith told us today, you can receive experience. And you can go to the marketplace and exchange your money into something wonderful. Again, experience or a gift. And I know it for everyone, that it is available. It is available. The generosity, the abundance, prosperity, the loving heart is available for everyone. And I simply, in gratitude, say, and so it is.
Almost forgot. This was a gift from, and it really goes with this song we're going to sing together. So this is another Peter Mayer song called "Where Is the Light?" So please sing with us. Well, it's late December, dark and cold. Where is the light? An old man here is bending low. Yeah, where is the light? When the sun comes off to bed too soon, yeah, where is the light? And there's nothing but a skinny moon. Yeah, where is the light? Oh, can you tell me where is the light? Where is the light? Where is the light? Oh, the light's inside of me. When And it's dark each morning when I rise. Where is the light? And it's dark when my eggs are frying. Where is the light? And it's dark when off to work I go. Yeah, where is the light? And it's dark again when I get home. Yeah, where is the light? Oh, can you tell me where is the light? Where is the light? Where is the light? Oh, the light's inside of me. It's in my skin, it's in my bones, it's in my heart, it's in my soul. That light, the light, so bright and golden, like a summer day. If the sun goes missing in the sky, it is rising in my eyes, chasing all that winter gloom away. Well, I'm burning bright like kerosene. Where is the light? And I'm twinkling like the Pleiades. And where is the light? I'm dancing like a candle flame. Where is the light? I'm flaming like a fruit flambe. Where is the light? Can you tell me where is the light? Where is the light? Where is the light? Oh, the light's inside of me. Oh, can you tell me where is the light? Where is the light? Where is the light? Oh, the light's inside of me. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh yeah, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Yes. And so if that just kind of got your juices flowing and you want more singing, we are doing our sing-along at 12:30 today. Please plan to stay if you are here in the room, or join us on Zoom, or if you are at home, go to celebrationcenter.org and click on Enter Zoom events. All are welcome to sing a joyful noise, not necessarily a good noise, in our holiday sing-along in just a few minutes. And if you are in the room, stay seated until after we're off broadcast, because I have instructions. And with that, I invite you to repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening through me right now. I am led by Spirit. I am guided by wisdom. I am protected by love. And I am the light. And so it is.